welcome back to the channel. My name is Jordan Steffen. I'm here today to talk to you about my experience with the Molekule Air Mini. So for those of you that are new here and haven't seen my other videos about the Molekule and a handful of other air purifiers, I purchased the original Molekule, the large one, about 2 years ago to help with allergies and other issues. Now since then, Molekule has released this smaller version, the Molekule Air Mini, and they sent this one to me, and I've had the chance to test it out over the last month or so, and I'm very pleased. The Molekule Air Mini comes in at half the price of the Molekule Air at $3.99, whereas the original Molekule was $7.99. Let's get into it and talk about what makes this different than the original Molekule and whether or not it might be right for you. Let's talk about the filter technology in this thing. I'm gonna pop it open really quick so I can show you the filter. So this is it. This is the PECO filter, P-E-C-O. It stands for photoelectrochemical oxidation. Now this is what sets Molekule apart from all the competition. Essentially, what you've got here is a filter that draws air in through this side and then out the top, right? And this outer layer is trapping things like dust and dander, large particles, things you can see that are in the air. And then anything that is smaller and makes it through to the inside of this filter is coated with nanoparticles, which are activated through a catalytic reaction from the UV lights. Now you can't see it, it's not on right now obviously, but there are UV light bulbs in there that excite the nanoparticles and cause oxidation of anything that's sitting on the surface of that filter. So it breaks things like mold and viruses and that kind of stuff. VOCs, volatile organic compounds, off-gassing from your wood floor or your furniture, and breaks it down to elements, making the air you breathe at the end clean and broken down to the molecular level. That's the name, Molekule. So I'm gonna put this back on. So these filters last 6 months each, and Molekule has a subscription option. So every 6 months you get a new filter sent to you in the mail, so you don't have to remember to reorder it. And for that, it's $100 a year, $99 a year. And that'll give you 2 of these filters. Now in comparison, the original Molekule uses 2 filters, a pre-filter and a PECO filter. This one basically combines the 2 technologies, probably making it slightly less efficient. If you've got dust sticking to the outside of the filter, that's also the PECO filter with the nanoparticles, but definitely a cost savings, and you see that in the price tag being cut in half. And then also the filter replacement program for the original Molekule is $130 a year instead of $99. So there's some cost savings to the end user in that realm as well. Now, does the filter work? I'm going to preface this by saying that this is not a scientific review. I have not used scientific instruments to measure anything. I haven't done a double-blind, placebo-controlled study. This is just anecdotal evidence from myself. But since getting the original Molekule a couple years back, I find that I've been sick less often, and when I do get sick, it's over much quicker. Also, something I have noticed in my apartment here is if we go away for a night, let's say, and we turn the Molekules off, when we come back, there's definitely this like VOC smells from building materials off-gassing, just kind of in the air, that when these are running 24/7, which is what I recommend doing, when I leave for the day, come home, there's no unusual smells. Let's talk about size. So this is physically about half the size of the original Molekule, which stood about here. And the amount of space, square footage of a room that it can efficiently clean is about half as well. This can clean up to a 250 square foot room, whereas the original Molekule can clean up to 600 square feet. Now, who is this good for? It's perfect for people that live in smaller spaces like I do, you know, studio apartments. I have a 1-bedroom apartment, but a small one. Or, you know, if you're living in a larger, like McMansion style of home, maybe like a kid's bedroom or something like that. This room's only about 75 square feet, so it's more than enough. And that's why I keep the Molecule Air Mini in the bedroom. Another reason it's great for the bedroom, listen to how quiet it is. So the Molecule Air Mini has 5 fan speeds. I'm going to go ahead really quick here and cycle through them all while using a professional microphone to capture the volume levels. According to Molecule's documentation, however, the noise level ranges from 30 to 50 decibels depending on how fast you have the speed, and that is very quiet, you know, about like a whisper. According to my watch right now, let's see how loud this is. It's hovering right around 37 or 38, but let's cycle through the fan speeds. Right now, at the maximum fan speed, with my watch about 1 foot away, I'm measuring 76 decibels. So it is a little louder than their specs sheet says. For me, keeping it on speed 1 or speed 2 is really the sweet spot. That's where you're getting sort of like this nice, light, white noise in the background, which actually helps me sleep better than if there were no sound at all. Another topic I want to touch on here is the light emission from the top of the unit. So on the original Molecule, the UV lights that excite the Pico filter, it casts this like purple glow from the top of the unit. Making it good as a nightlight, but a little too bright to actually have in the bedroom with you, which is why they included a dark mode to turn on while you sleep. But turning on dark mode and thus turning off the UV lights basically deactivates the whole Pico technology and turns it just into a little more than a standard like HEPA filter. Something I noticed immediately when getting the Molecule Air Mini is that I don't see any light from the top. Granted, I'm in a brightly lit room, so let's see what happens if I turn the lights off and see if you can see any light coming from the top of this. I couldn't see any on the screen. Let's get a closer look. Let's do a little close-up and see if we can get it to show up on camera. Turn the lights off. My camera is on maximum exposure settings. If I look straight down in there, you can see the UV light. But what you're seeing on your screen right now is actually brighter than real life because I've cranked the exposure all the way up. And if you look anything other than straight down in, you can't see anything. One other like technical specification I want to talk about is the power consumption. Now Molecule says this consumes between 20 and 50 watts depending on the speed of the fan, of course. Putting it within line of their first unit and, you know, about the amount of power as a light bulb. So they do recommend keeping it on 24/7 because why would you want to have periods of not clean air as long as you've got an air purifier, right? And I share that belief in that if you have an air purifier, it should always be running. But at 20 to 50 watts, that shouldn't make too much of an impact on your monthly electrical bill. All right, so let's talk about my final thoughts here. You know, who is this good for? If I could go back in time before I ever purchased a Molecule and the Molecule Air Mini existed 2 years ago, and I was for sure gonna spend $799 like I did on the original Molecule, I think I would have opted for 2 of these for that price rather than 1 of the original. I think it's a much better bedroom unit because it doesn't have the light emissions out of the top. It's just as quiet, but it doesn't have that light, and it makes sleeping much better, much easier to achieve that deep level of sleep. And my other living spaces, this is more than big enough to cover that. At 250 square feet, I don't have any room even close to that. So the original one for me is a little overkill, except that when I originally purchased it, I was thinking it could cover the entire apartment because my apartment is about 600 square feet. So if you do have a similar living situation, you've got smaller rooms and you have a budget of about $800, I would recommend buying 2 of the Air Minis rather than 1 of the just regular Molecule Airs. But as I said before, if you live in a larger, Micmatchin suburban style home, your living room may require a full-size Molecule to clean properly, and then you can stick these in the bedrooms. So let's talk about who is this for. I think anyone can benefit from cleaner air, but especially anyone that's like a allergy sufferer, you've got any sort of breathing issues like asthma. If you live in an older home, or you live in sort of like a damp coastal climate where mold is common, any of those sort of scenarios, this is going to help clean up the air in your home. If you live in some sort of building with inoperable windows and you're never exchanging fresh air into your space, this is going to help out a lot. And even if you can open your windows, for me, there's large portions of the year where we don't, because it's either too cold or too hot. And so this is going to be good in those times as well. Like I said, this is just my personal experience that I feel like it has made an improvement on the air inside my home. So I hope you can take that information and go ahead and make your own decisions based on that, and maybe give this thing a shot. So there you have it, my review after 1 month of using the Molecule Air Mini. If you are interested in purchasing this or learning more about it, you can click my link down below, which will take you to their website. And like I said, full disclosure, I was sent this unit by Molecule, and by using my link, you do help out the channel, and for that, I'm grateful. If you are watching this video when it comes out, I do have some exciting news for you. There is a special Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal going on right now for both the original Molecule and the Molecule Air Mini. Starting today, the 25th of November 2019, you can get 20% off of both the Molecule Air and Air Mini, which brings the price of the original down to $639 and the Air Mini down to just $319. So if you get one of each, you can save up to $240. This is their biggest sale of the year. In the past, I've seen $50 off or maybe $100 off the original, but to get $160 off is the best deal I've seen, and then also to get $80 off of the Molecule Air Mini is great as well. So if you are watching this between now and the 3rd of December, go ahead and enter code GIVETHANKS19 at checkout after clicking my link down below, and you will be on your way to breathing cleaner air. So with that, I just wanted to thank you again for watching, and I will see you another time.